All right, going to be doing a video about my big board. I had someone reach out to me through Twitter, ask me, what's my big board? Do I have one? What does it look like? What do I do? What's it look like for this year? I do have a workbook, and this is kind of the easiest way to digest it. So kind of the front page, it's set up pretty simple. I should maybe not the simplest, but it's easy to digest to a certain extent. Where you have your athlete, position, college, the year, their height, weight, etc., conference, and then I get into the grades. These grades is how I see them throughout the rest. This is how they are if they were to play the NFL based upon what I've seen or read, stats. All right, just the compilation, comprehensive overview. This is what it is. Basically my valuation on the athlete. Right now, the tier is kind of how I see. In this case, how the Patriots, the specific market, the Patriots is looking at these guys. This is where I think they will have it, and then the round is where they will probably have to target if they want to go after that specific athlete, right? So that's kind of the general market. So that's like the NFL market. This is the Patriots market, what they're seeing. This is my valuation, okay? And then the different colors is how is kind of like my grades or my tiers, which, I think isn't, ridiculous. I don't think it's an outlier, but so I guess the colors is my probably easier way to say my valuation, my tiers, or also maybe a combination of all three, where I think these are the best guys. They're obviously where I would target first, and then also the round I would take them in. Now, the market tells me that these guys will probably go in the first round, but I don't see them as good. So, you can see how this goes all the way down. All right, now this one, I have, I think, 400 and change. No, I don't have 400, right? How much do I have? Roughly 400 something, mid 400s. Yeah. Someone asked me how do I get through all this. I'm a research analyst, specifically equities research, so I've got enough things that compile information very quickly. I have things that scan and scrape data, so I can do this stuff pretty quickly, and it compiles it, automatically does it. It's basically some Excel spreadsheet, just fun data collection stuff. I used it as a coach. It's really easy. So this is basically the combination of two things, right? So it's an easy endeavor for me to do. But anyway, how do we get into this? I guess we'll just go straight down. I mean, I'll scroll it. I'm obviously not going to make comments on 400 guys, but I'm going to probably stick with the colors, and you guys can maybe just stick around and pay attention to these guys, the numbers over here if you want to. I'm sure I'm going to get some blowback on some of this stuff. And I'm going to say right off the bat, I haven't gone through all this with a fine-tooth comb. There might be some times where at least it's sorted correctly right now with the grades. But it's not perfect. Anyway, so blue chips, Bijan, Anderson. Okay, we got Jalen Carter, Gonzalez, Skoronski, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Paris Johnson. So notice how we get down to about, we got 7 there. Right, so these guys probably won't make it to the Patriots. Because even though you'll have, a few guys in here, like Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Levis, there's 4. So we're getting to at least double digits. I would assume Devin Witherspoon, Tyree Wilson will probably be thrown in there. So we're so close. Someone's going to have to take, in order for the Patriots to have a shot, any one of these guys, you're probably going to need someone to take either think that probably Nolan Smith, Joey Porter Jr., or maybe even Deontay Banks, or there's some people that are really big on Broderick Jones that might reach on that. Maybe Anthony Richards can get them. They're going to need some help if they're going to get a shot at, say, Christian Gonzalez, any one of these guys. I really don't think that Bijan, Anderson, or Carter is going to drop all the way. Christian Gonzalez is a very slim chance. I think the only 3 guys that we have a shot at are Skoronski, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and Paris. The only reason why we might really actually have a shot at Jackson Smith-Njigba is because he is a slot, and not everybody wants one. He can. I think he can play outside to it. I mean, he's got the frame to be at least operative out there. Like, he can play out there physically, but it's obviously a skill set. It's probably obviously geared more towards the slot. That leaves us to here, which all these guys I'd be totally fine with. Well, maybe not the quarterbacks, but if you take Deontay, Witherspoon, Tyree, I wouldn't hate any of these guys coming to the Patriots. I wouldn't. I would stay away from the quarterbacks, but I'm not a huge... I mean, I like Michael Mayer. I think he's one of the best comprehensive skill sets for... I mean, he can block. He's good all around. Definitely a full-service tight end. Now, these guys are basically... You're going to see some that maybe in this group that flood up into the first round, depending on how, what the needs are. Basically, it's probably going to be dictated by tight ends and corners and, well, edge, who you want for what edge style you want, and then how many quarterbacks go in the first round. But these guys have an outside chance of getting moved up in the first. These are some of my favorite. This is the first group. Like, this group, there's some guys in here that are definitely going to be in the first that, in previous years, this blue box would come down to about here, right? And this red box would be down here, right? So now we have there's a bunch of guys in this top half of this box that might make it in, and there should be a bunch of guys that shouldn't even be here. They should be down in this box, if that makes any sense. Meaning, yeah, this whole box should be shifted down to here, and the blue one should be elongated. That's the reality. These guys, I think, are actually where they are in the draft. Like, yeah, so these guys basically probably should be considered properly evaluated at this point. Yeah. So this is where I think if you can get second round picks or early third round picks and trades for the Patriots, you can actually get something that, it's not going to hurt to get them. Whereas, there's no... I think some of these guys might be a reach if you get them at 14. Obviously, these guys won't, but some of these guys will be reaches. Like, I think a lot of the quarterbacks would be, but even... Like, if we took Jahmyr Gibbs at 14 or Zay Flowers at 14, I'd be a little... I mean, we probably wouldn't take Torrance, but he'd be another guy. I'm good with Deontay, Devin, Tyree if they really feel like they need him. Obviously, Joey Porter would be great too. But then the rest of these guys I wouldn't want. But I would like these guys. I'm good at 46, right? So if that makes any sense. I'm good with all these guys at 46. This is where I think most of these guys should be, is in those like late 20s to early 40s. I think these guys, for the most part, are being... There's a few of them that are going to get overdrafted. These are my guys that really are like that late third, probably fourth rounders. You can see this is where we can kind of get a little bit of like this, getting a little better grades. I think that's where their tiers are at, and then also what round you're going to get them in. So you can see in this area is where things kind of get a little murky, because you take somebody like Zach Harrison, who's a good grade, should be, I think the Patriots see him as that, but he's probably not going to go, he's not going to get there until the third, just because the edge class is so deep. Same thing with Isaiah. You're going to get a lot of guys that are actually up here for the most part in terms of their depth, or I'm sorry, in terms of their valuation, but they're making it all the way down kind of in like the third, maybe even early fourth round. see now there's a huge swath of guys that happen around to be in that 4th round. Again, a little bit of a... These guys, I see them not as good as these, but at the same time, like, they can make it to the 3rd round, and the 4th round. This is where I think they would target them. Some people are probably going to say, like, Cedric Tillman's probably not going to make it there. And maybe they take Cedric Tillman. Obviously, it comes down to if there's a big rush at wide receiver and they want to get somebody like Cedric Tillman. I wouldn't. I mean, I think he's a good player, but unless they need to have somebody who's like basically another Devontae Parker, maybe, I guess. Do we need to put that person in this year? I don't know. Maybe. That's one of those things where you probably have to take a deep look at like free agents for next year. But again, you're gonna see some guys in here that are like, whoa, what's like why is Devin A. Chain in this one? JL Skinner, Eli Ricks, Isaiah McGuire, Owen Papp. Well, he might be there, but there's a few other guys in here that you're probably wondering why they're down this far. Usually injury, and then a lot of guys have potential, but they're also projects. Like Andre Carter's a great example. I mean, I have him basically being in like between 100 and 150 at this point. He's like almost like a luxury pick, I guess you would say, like around 100, because he's going to need a lot of work physically. And if you're going to draft him, you're not going to change his body by opening day. So first game, he's probably not going to be ready to go. So you're almost taking a year for development there. I think the Patriots wouldn't be a bad thing to consider taking him, but that's why he's down in like the 4th, mid 4th round at this point. This is an interesting group here. This is a group that I would say is kind of like the solid 5th round talents. Whereas like this is decent 4th. This is the 5th round talent that I was talking about, where there's just like basically nobody there. And so you're gonna see some of these guys get moved up. They might be in the 5th round. You might see some of these guys make it to the 4th. And then you're probably going to see a bunch of guys in here start to bleed up into the 5th. Which I don't think is terrible, There's some good players in here. There's, But then at the same time, this purple one basically is supposed to be 6th to 7th rounders. Right? So you can see 6 down here, 7th. And then this is where it's interesting, where I have a bunch of guys that I don't see to be too far off from them. But I think they're just gonna run out of picks. Or I can't put a name, a team. I mean, there's gonna be, because now we're getting to like the 300s here, and I'm gonna say this: I'm probably still missing about 100 guys. I didn't get everybody. I mean, I don't know what the total number is, and I don't even know if there's a place you can go look it up. But it's over 400. But you can see I basically have UDFAs on so many of these guys. And I hate to say it, but that was kind of my default. Like, I'm probably... Like, there's a few guys I can see in here that maybe, like Jake Bobo might get drafted. Connor Galvin, I think, is draftable. So maybe I should move him up, but... At the same time, I think it's... Part of it is... here's me thinking about it, and then there's like me thinking hard about what the Patriots want. So I don't know if a lot of these guys are UDFA, because I don't know if the Patriots are really going to pull the trigger on them. what's his face? Jack Colletto's in here. Maybe. His physical attributes really don't support. I mean, Kalon LeBourne, I don't think he's going to get drafted, but the guy's good. Same thing with Isaiah Bolin. I know that guy's being, linked to the Patriots. He has an outside chance of being drafted, but he's not far off in my book. And he's punter Michael Turk. He was good, but he's also a punter. Yeah, the Patriots need one. I don't know if they need to. I mean, unless they have unless they really fear that when they call these guys up and they're just gonna say, we're gonna sign you, and they're just like, I don't want to play in New England. I don't know. Maybe that might be the situation. Maybe for a punter, we might have to consider the last punter that left, saying that it's bad for you to squat after coming back from an injury. That sounded real intelligent, but... So I'm going to go through this really slowly as best I can, just so you guys can get a scroll and see what we're doing. Another thing to point out is, sorry, I'm going away from it again. I don't think that Harrison's definitely better than Will McDonald. It's just that they have this. I mean, they have the same grades. Where they are here is just random. I just want to say that. So it's not. This is not as straight up absolute next. It's grouped together, and I mean, I don't know how. I mean, this is my best doing, for what I think they can be as, Will McDonald, the fourth, is, I think he's an 83 as an NFL player. Is he that much better than Cody Mock? Probably not. Or Zach Harrison? Probably not. Another thing to point out, as I think about it more and more, I really think the Patriots might take two tight ends in this class, because I'm looking at the next year's class, and they have 3 or 4 guys that are decent. But, geez, you can get if you can get Schoonmaker and Kuntz in the 4th round, wow, because those guys might be 2nd or 3rd rounders next year. So if you can get them, you have what, 3 4th round picks? You have a bunch of 6th round picks. I mean, the depth I haven't got there yet, but next year's class, it's very good towards the top. I don't know the middle yet. I haven't got a good feel for it. I don't feel like it's amazing in that respect, but I think they'll have a better time getting to 100 next year than this year. The other half of the draft, I'm not really sure about. I don't know what's going to happen after, say, in the 4th round on out. Day 3 is going to be interesting, and UDFA, I have no pulse on it yet. It just seems like everybody that was good that was in college football, really, I mean, besides some of the obvious guys, again, being top 30 picks, or top 30 to 50 guys next year. After 50, I don't think most of the other guys that'll be on that board right now, I don't know who they are. I mean, most of the good guys this year were seniors. There's a lot of seniors this year and there's, super seniors really because of COVID. So there's a lot of guys, the depth that's in these late rounds is actually pretty good. It's just that late 4th to early 6th is where there's a gap there. And I don't understand what that was about. I did pretty well. I don't think I have any doubles. And that's it. So, like I said, over 400. Some people are gonna probably, like even Dion Bergen's actually pretty good. I mean, I just don't know. Like especially punters and kickers, I just don't have a full. They're good. I just have to put them at 40s down here because it's kind of where everything. It's amazing. That's kind of like how they all grouped up. Yeah. I know I can actually, right now, I can think about 3 guys that I like that are not even on this list. So, they wouldn't, I mean, they'd be UDFA guys anyways, but I could just think. So that's it. This year, maybe next year, I can do my best to kind of go down and how I break down this and the grading system. And again, I have my own grading system that I use as a coach and developing athlete profiles. And then I just modified it a little bit for the Patriots, using their draft trends, what they needed, and their tendency to grade athletes based upon what they need versus what the athlete's worth grading. There's just a little bit thrown in there, and it's a lot of tricks that you use. It's like modifying a lot of valuation methods, like that's in finance, like discounted cash flow and all those ways to evaluate companies. I just applied it to humans. Now that sounds terrible, but to be honest with you, as a coach, I saw those types of calculations as a coach before I saw them as, working in the financial world. So I don't know what came. I would assume the financial world was was first adapted to athletes. Like power indexes. If you really ranking someone's power index is, I mean, someone's power index is almost like a discounted cash flow, or even no, actually it's a little more like a price to sales in many ways. But point being is it's doing those types of valuations and putting it to people is really not that hard, because everything's quantified, right? The value of a pick, the value of a quarterback versus the value of a long snapper. So it's not that hard. And then you go with height and weight and then bench press and all that. It all comes down to a number. So, I mean, the hard part is basically rating them amongst peers in their conferences. I grade obviously the guys who are in your look at the top here. You got like Big 12, SEC, ACC, all the Big Tens, Packs, all those I rank out differently for football. But it's not a massive influence. I can't say it's a massive influence every single year, because the tape shows that, and these guys' athletic performance has a big influence on my grading system. And I don't I got this from, how I evaluated athletes, and it's not that far off. Like I said, even the tier system is slightly off. The tiers and the rounds are not even that far off. So I'm not the only one. So I hope you guys found this to be interesting. I mean, maybe you can go back down and just take a look. I'll see if I can find a way to post this. I can do a link on my Twitter. Maybe I'll do that. I'll upload it to a Google. But yeah, hope you guys found this to be interesting. This is the last hours before the Patriots pick. Well, we'll pick, I think, close to like 10 o'clock or something like that. So this will be uploaded by then. Hope you guys enjoyed, and have fun watching the draft. Maybe this will be my last little. I really think they're gonna end up taking a corner. I think that's the only, and I'm gonna do this on probability, because if we get here, they're not gonna have this, but we have 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's 3 corners here, so I think it's a safe bet. A corner or an edge, right? Yeah. Got some corners up there. Got an edge up there. So, yeah. Unless there's a lot of people who want corners or edges, I think this is what they'll go after. And corners a top tier concern. Edge is a second one, but it needs to be addressed. Uche's going up next year. They still need depth there. I think they need a D end, not an upright. So might probably goes towards like a Tyree Wilson or a Miles Murphy. Yeah. And Deontay Banks, Witherspoon, or Porter Jr. are all operative. It'll be interesting. I don't know. I'm not going to bet on it, that's for sure. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed. Have fun.